pop. I was about to pop. I was about to pop. Ooh, my little curls. I kept lifting stuff over my hair today. My little curls getting out of little control. I almost wigged it today. I might wig it tomorrow because it's a little nippy. So hey, welcome to the Super Tea Podcast Show. I got a bed. I got tea, my own tea. I don't be carrying nobody else's tea. I don't even keep my own daggone tea. I gotta let that shit go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. But I need to plug up my phone first. Because I just got in. Making me a little snack before my next class. My next class is online. Luckily. So that's a good thing. My homework is done. I got studying because I got midterms and what else? Midterms and tests. I have tests and midterms, just two. But then I have midterms and tests for these new classes that I just started, like right there. So it's like November's just gonna be a whole bunch of tests. That's what November's gonna look like. In the end of October. Then, of course, I come in and there's a notice on the door. They want to do an inspection on the day of one of my tests. It's not a midterm, so I'm gonna take this letter right to my professor. Excuse me. You know, I'll be preparing when I be ready to do my daggone videos. I just be like, do it. Like my video early last year, there was no preparation in that at all. It was just literally me, like, what the fuck is this? Where these motherfuckers come from? Where they come from? Where they come from? So anyway, yeah, I got some stuff to unpack, people. So here are some things about me, and I love these things. I really do. I mean, and if there's ever any danger or anything to that effect, it's like an amazing part of me. You know, that intuition, the sensitivity, the feelings. Like I am the complete opposite of numb. I'm an empath. Even when I'm traveling, I can feel the energies of where I'm at and what I have done with my own personal journey and in my own personal work is I've gotten to the point where I project. So I don't, I know how to be, feel, but not be attached, right? I know that. That I have gotten together, but not in every aspect, apparently. Apparently, I haven't gotten it together in every aspect. Not in every aspect. Every aspect, I have not gotten it together. So I have work to do. And of course, I'm going to be working and improving like forever. That's not going to ever stop. But sometimes, you get to a point and you're like, oh, I am so ready. And then you realize, oh, wait a minute, I got some more. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go back to the drawing board. So that's where I'm at. I've been on this app, this dating app. I actually joined a few. I joined Hinge. Uh, Not too much conversation goes on over there. Facebook actually has their own section that's specified just for dating. So I've been over there, and I want to say I downloaded a Christian one, but I don't think I ever even filled out a profile because I have a full fucking schedule. I have a full schedule of studies and work study and uh, getting my business back together, getting my organization back together. I'm in a bunch of clubs at the school. Plus, I have a 25-year-old that I'm sort of micromanaging, and he has different things that come up and pop up randomly. Like, for example, I'm in school today, and I'm like really hard studying and listening to what the teacher is. I get a phone call, and it's like, oh, I apologize. I know you're in class right now. Well, if you know I'm in class, if it's not an emergency, what are you calling me for? Now, I done already got up, then left the class to see if this is something that needs my attention or whatever, and He hangs up by the time I even get out of the classroom. So anyway, this conversation is not about him. This is just to say that I already have a full plate. Um, and I guess I'm at a point where I just want to share. Like, I'm glad I have this platform because I don't know what the hell I would do if I didn't have this platform. You think I write enough now? Like, literally, no exaggeration. This is my counter, and this is not reflective of all of my journals and books and stuff because I put a whole bunch of them away. But here's one. There's at least, like, I can at least go in my kitchen and grab. That's one. Here's two. Like I'm always writing, so it's good. I love to write. I love to journal, but if I was to literally write down all that I express, like I would have encyclopedias. I'd be writing encyclopedias by hand. So it's important to talk, so I've developed, well, I should say I'm developing now that I am in a new place, new space, new people, new circumference. I've been in solitude for a lot, partially healing, partially just not trusting individuals, partially just growing, So all of those things have been happening. Healing, getting over trust issues, growing, working on my own personal development, spiritual development. That's what's been happening with me, And I met some wonderful sisters, and I feel like if you have a challenge, like say for example, let's use a car. For example, if you have an issue with your car, you're going to talk to a mechanic about it, or you're going to talk to somebody who has a car. You're not going to necessarily talk about the issue with your car with somebody who doesn't even have one, doesn't even want a car, don't know shit about cars. Like, what's the sense? Of course, you could just ventilate. You'll feel better by ventilating. But how does that actually solve whatever the challenge is? It doesn't, right? So I think the same thing applies with people when you have your own personal goals when it comes to relationships. You should speak or get advice from individuals who are actually in happy, healthy, functional relationships. If that's what you desire, then those are the people you should be having conversations with. Even though your loved ones may love you as a person, they may not give you the greatest advice. And that's something I learned years ago, and what's interesting about that is that I was at one point getting some advice from somebody who was in what seemed to be a good relationship. So I needed that call. Excuse me. I thought it was extra close. I'm using my phone, by the way. Is water boiling? I'm hungry. I got class starting in about 24 minutes. So yeah, so ironically, yeah, I was getting advice from this person, but they were doing the opposite. They were getting advice not from other married people. They were getting advice from single people, and I, to this day, think that kind of put a fork, no pun intended, but I think that put a damper into their marriage, and I to this day don't really know what happened because they just whoever that person that was giving them marital advice, relationship advice, also was giving them friendship advice, and I got to the point where I just was like, listen, if you can't see and don't see me and don't see how much I care and how much I am willing to and have contribute to this friendship, then whatever. I'm not here to be down with the crew. I'm here for you. Now your crew is your crew, but I'm here for you. Like, I'm not here for their acceptance. I'm not here for their approvals. I'm here to celebrate and support you. And if they feel a way because I'm not what they feel I should be, then that's on them. Like, I wasn't there for them. I was there for that person. So that was years ago. But that was the person that when I would like have relationship discussions, that was the person I would have those discussions with. So we no longer have any discussions right now. So I haven't talked to them for years. No fallout, no nothing, just The communication just stopped. And that's what that is. So now, fast forward, I'm meeting new people. So I'm making friends now, like all late in the game, but better late than never because I don't even think, I know I had to work on me. I had to heal, I had to grow, I had to decide what do I want, and be very specific and intentional about those things. And then, then go and make friends. Not before then, because if you're not healed, you're gonna be friends with people who ain't healed. If you're not very intentional about what you want in your life, then you're just gonna be friends with nice people. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with nice people, but you want to be around people where your goals and their goals are in alignment. So when you're talking about stuff like your books and you're talking about your businesses, like you have something in common to speak about versus, and there's nothing wrong with people punching a clock. Like there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But a business owner and a 9 to 5 are a little different, their mindsets work different. The day is structured different, So I personally want to have people whose mindset works similar to my mindset. So when we are having engaging conversations, it is profitable and good for us both, my and your end. You know what I'm saying? It's a good ebb and flow. I believe in that. I believe in ebb and flow. I believe in reciprocity. Like those are core important things to me for friendships and for partnerships across the board, from the very slightest to the most extreme. And of course, I think the most extreme is an intimate relationship. So, I have been preparing myself for that because that is something that I do desire. And I've been utilizing these tools. By the way, really happy I answered that call. I have a trip that I'm going on. Woo! My first school trip back at school. I'm excited. We're just going to study some business stuff. That was the head of the accounting club. This accounting is definitely somewhere where I need some strengthening at. Anyway, nonetheless, back to the podcast. And I didn't put on my do not disturb, so that is one of my see, I think I have it on now. That is one of my things that I'll be forgetting a lot. Because it be like I need to pour it out. I need to pour it out. If I keep it in, it's gonna bother me and it's gonna stick somewhere. And I'm gonna do the opposite of stick stuff places. I think I have do a little jiggle. I have enough to wiggle and jiggle out. I need to store nothing else. So with that being said, I'm on these sites, and I feel like my intuition is really like on point and key, and so I'm guarded and I'm interacting, having conversations, and my vetting I feel is pretty good, I feel like my vetting is pretty good. I can tell within just a few words. Sometimes I can just tell in the pictures, yeah, no, they're not on the same wavelength, and that's just what it was, how it's been until recently. Recently, I'm like, is my meter off or something? What happened? What just happened? So, growing up, I've always had a preference with the guys that I dated. My first husband actually didn't totally fit that preference, but somewhat he fit that preference, and it was an older, mature individual. But now that I have gotten older and more mature, I'm like, these guys that are older and more mature, a lot of them are already like locked in, and if they're not locked in, mm, they're on a different wavelength, they're on a whole different wavelength. So, I was like, I mentioned that to some people. I mentioned it to one of my new friends, actually, who was actually a psychologist. She's a psychologist. and she's a professor, and she's happily married. And I mentioned this to her, and she was like, "Well, you may want to look younger, because my sisters is looking younger." I'm like, "Younger?" She's like, "Yeah, girl, you never know. Like, look in the 30s and da da da." And I was like, "Yeah, okay. I mean, I might take your advice. Let me let me think about it. And so I started saying, well, let's see what their conversation is about. And that's the wavelength I was on. And so I'm just casually the other day, just, going through the pictures and stuff like that. And then I see an individual and I'm like, oh, this individual is very attractive. And I always read the profiles. And I read the profile, I'm like, oh wow, they're mature and wow, okay. And I'm swiping, and there's things that I like that, I don't just say that I like these things, but I like these things. And they're just things that I personally like. Like uniforms. I like uniforms. I like uniforms a lot. I don't know why I do, but I do. And I do know why. I think because it shows a level of discipline, a level of dedication. And I feel like, well, if a person can be disciplined and dedicated in order to successfully play that role, then that means that they have at least the substance. Of course, you have to have the willpower to want to do it as well, but at least they have the substance. Some people don't have the substance of discipline and dedication, so then it's not a match. No matter how good they may present themselves, it's like, yeah, if you don't have those two things, then because those things are required in my lifestyle. And those are things that I've had to work on myself now. I don't want to make it seem like I'm ultra disciplined, because I'm still like figuring out when I'm going to study, even though I've been affirming that Sundays are my study day. If I'm going to be accurate, Sundays, like if I study, it's probably like 10, 20 minutes. And then the whole other, this Sunday is going to be different because I have tests to take. My study stuff has to be different completely. I can't just study one day out of the week. I have to literally study every day. And I just appreciate my professor for making it much, much easier and being very, very skilled. And, I had other things, like I said, my businesses, getting those things back together. One is litigating. So, like getting an attorney and finding an attorney when you don't have the retainer fee, and you did have a retainer fee, which you gave to some attorneys and then they dipped out on it. It's like, it's a lot. I know they took a handout from the person that I'm suing, and it's okay. It's all good. It is what it is. That's done with, but still it has to go forward. So that's on my mind. Plus I had to deal with bureaucracy in regards to house stuff. I had to deal with bureaucracy in regards to school stuff. Like I had to email president, just thank you for the thumbs up. Communicate, advocate for myself, and also say, listen, I need somebody to advocate for me too, because I'm learning a whole bunch of new material. See if this water is boiling. I'm learning a whole bunch of new material. I'm making something really simple. Noodles, excuse me. I'm making, but I'm learning new material, and I need to process this new material. But how can I process this new material? How can I even retain the information of this new material if I'm dealing with this other stuff? But somehow the other stuff has been sorted out. I missed a whole lot of stuff, but because I stayed on top of it, it worked itself out. So that's good. Good stuff. These are different noodles. Add the base, pour room temperature into a microwave. Okay, what if I'm just putting hot water and I'm not microwaving it? If they go in at the same time. All right, excuse me. Reading the instructions. These are different. These are some different oodles and noodles. So it's been a lot. Brain has been definitely working. I mean, so freaking much that my dreams have gotten extremely vivid. And I feel like they've been vivid, but they next level vivid. So I joke and I'm like, even when I go to sleep, it doesn't stop. Like it's going. It's like, you know, be going on little adventures and shit in the dream. Sometimes it's a dream where there gotta be there's a messages. Sometimes it's not. It's like, so anyway, with all of that being said, I'm like still, in my little free time, which is very little, I'm like, let me see, So that's what I've been doing, and then I just had a brief conversation with somebody who was like, this is what they said, their words, and I'm gonna try to say them as best as they said it. They want something that is natural, and I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm like, I appreciate that. And so what I felt was something that seemed to be natural, because it was literally when I looked and I listened and it was just like everything that I liked, it was there. It was like it was packaged well, and I was just like, oh, nice, I'm like, okay. And I got excited. And I think I wouldn't say I got too excited. I like to be excited, I like to feel things, But then now I'm just like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, I felt a lot. And I'm just like, ooh, you felt a lot, you sensitive lady. Now what do you do? What do you do with all of that? Just like nothing. You got to be patient because you got to see, you got to wait, and you got to, it has to be mutual for it to work. So just wait and see. And I was just like, oh. Okay. But you don't have to wait and do nothing. You can interact with other people and and like inside it's like, I don't want to even put my energy over there, but it's like, but you should not be exclusive with a stranger. We've been there, done that before. I'm laughing because it was such a long time. I know you're like, what? How did you do that? There's a word for it. It's called it's not unreciprocated, even though that's basically what it was. But it was just like, no, this is it. I know that I'm so stubborn. It's a Taurus in me. I was like, I know this is what I like. This is what I want. This is it. Da 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 da. And it wasn't it. It was not mutual. But it had a place and space in my life for the time that it existed, because I was so locked in, I didn't pay too much attention to others, and I was in a vulnerable situation. I was grieving from the loss of my daughter, and I needed to be to myself, So it played its position, but now, a decade later and some change, I'm like, okay, I'm on point. My intuition is tight. I'm like, maybe. What I can say is I do have great taste, So we'll see. We'll see how everything unfolds. I have to get to class. I had to let it out. There was nobody for me to call and have a conversation with. My new friends were not available. And yeah, so I came onto my podcast to, basically release, be free of the emotions. And I don't know. I don't know who it could be beneficial to, but perhaps somebody, perhaps it will encourage somebody. Maybe some of the things that I've mentioned, it will be of assistance to. Hey, so anyway, I gotta get to class. I gotta eat my snack, and it's good. It's beneficial to release. So if you have a safe space, release. If you don't, create one. That's my message for the day. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.